Inside Earth, Earth is our homeland. Analysis plant is considerably undergoing a change of the interior inside our Earth and outside. Have you ever wondered that lies in the interior of the Earth? Have you Earth made up of interior of the Earth just like an onion? The Earth is made up of several consecutive layers, and inside another, the uppermost layer over the Earth's surface is called the crust, and thinnest layer at all. The layer is about 85 kilometers on the continental crust. Masses of the 25 kilometer the ocean floors, and the main mineral continuation of the continental mass are Australia and aluminium. It is thus is called Cl and aluminium. This continental crust and the magnesium therefore called Sima. This just breathed in crust is mantle in which estimate go to the deep of 2,900 kilometer deep. The deepest mine in the world is the South Africa. It is more about 5 kilometers deep. In the search of the oil engines have dug a hole about 6 kilometers deep in a search of the center of the in which this is not possible when we will dug a hole 6,000 kilometers deep on the ocean floor. The innermost layer of the core is a radius about 3,500 kilometer. It is mainly made up of nickel and iron. It is called NiFi. The centermost core of the core has very high temperature and pressure rocks and minerals. The crust is made up of various types of rocks, and the natural mass of the mineral matter and makes up the earth crust is called the rocks, and the rocks can be of the different colors, size and textures. These three are the major types of igneous rock and sedimentary rock and metamorphic rock. When the molten magma cools down, the solid rock thus is formed called igneous rock. They are also called primary rocks. There are two types of igneous rock. They are interstitial rocks and extraterrestrial rocks. Can you imagine lava coming out from the volcano's lava is naturally filled with earth. Molten magma coming out of the interior of the earth's surface is when molten magma comes from the earth's surface is rapidly cools down and become a solid. The rock formed in such way is called the crust is called the interstitial rocks, and they have a very grained structure. For example, the basalt, the decay of the peninsula and make the basalt. Sometimes the molten magma cools down inside the earth crust and made rocks and form the institutional rocks. Rocks slide and cool down slowly. Slide gains the canteen is the example of the such rocks. Gainting stores used to prepare paste powder of the spices of and gains are made up of granite rocks rolled down, crack and hit each another and are broken down into small fragments, and smaller particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind and water. These loops are sediments comprised with a harder to form layer of these types of the rocks is called the sedimentary rocks. For example, sultan rocks and made again for the sand of these rocks are may also contain fossils of the plants, animals and other microorganisms that once lives in them igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and the change one into the metamorphic rock under the great heat of the pressure. For example, clay rocks into the shade and the limestone in a marble rocks are very useful to add to hard rocks and making roads and houses, buildings and stones in games. For example, 7 stones, heaped hotels, 5 stones, and the other more such more games by asking the great parents and parents, neighborhoods, etc. You will surprised to know one type of the rock change in the another type under certain consequence in the certain manner. This process transformation of the rocks from one place to another is known as rock cycle. Have you already learnt about the molten magma pools solidifies and become uh, become rock broken down into small particles and that are transported to the deposit from a sediment rocks. And when the here's rock was sedimentary and rocks emitted with the heat and the pressure, they change into the molten magma. They are metamorphic rock and they still under great heat pressure and melt down into the molten magma. This is molten magma again is cooled down into solidified to igneous rock. Rocks made up of different minerals. Minerals are naturally occurring substances with a certain physical property and define the chemical constituents. Minerals are very important to humankind. Are already used as a fuels and, for example, gold, gas and perfume. It is also used as an institution and the aluminium, gold, aluminium etc. are already in fertilizers etc. Collect the pictures of the monuments and find whether the rocks used to build the two pieces have been collected for you. The Great Falls is made of red stone. The Taj Mahal is made of white marble. The crust forms only 1% volume of the Earth. 84% consider of the mantle. 50% makes the core. The radius of the Earth is 6,371 kilometer. Igneous rock Lantern world. Igneous means the fire. Sedimentary lantern word sedimentarium meaning settle down. Metamorphic Greek word metamorphs meaning change of form. Foils remains of the dead particles in animals trapped in a layers of the rocks is called the fossil. Find the truth. Everything you are about to read is expert from one or more settlements on this page. True or false? The seas and the moon surface are dry now, but were once filled with water. True or false? Hot liquid and once followed into the surface of the moon. Introduction. The moon has always a source of the wonder of the mystery. Often we see the lighting up in the sky, but sometimes we can't see it glow in the daytime too. We are observing will notice in a moon appears to be changed in the shape of the sometimes big around, other times look around like a tin silver, maybe accident myths and legends of the about the wonder about the moon, how its efforts and creatures on the earth prepared a rose song about the moon beauty as created festival. To celebrate it, the moon never skipped track of time. Over the years, the scientists made equal discoveries more about the astronomers have explored in the surface of the black holes of the moon. Rocks fall as to steady, but when it comes to unlocking the moon secrets, we have only scattered the surface. The moon, when the Earth rises up to the moon's surface, it looks like a blue and white marble in this space. The moon is moving away from the Earth at the rate of 1.5 inches per year, 3.8 centimeter per year. இப்படியே போனால் சன்னில் போய்
விக்கிபீடியா இன் அடிப்படையில் நிலா என்பது புவியின் ஒரேயொரு நிரந்தரமான இயற்கை துணைக்கோள் ஆகும். இது கதிரவ தொகுதியில் உள்ள 5வது மிகப்பெரிய துணைக்கோளும் 2வது அடர்த்திமிகு துணைக்கோளும் ஆகும். நிலவு புவியை ஒரு நீள்வட்ட பாதையில் சுற்றி வர சராசரியாக 29.32 நாட்கள் ஆகிறது. புவிக்கும் நிலாவுக்கும் இடையே உள்ள சராசரி தொலைவு 3,84,403 கிலோமீட்டர்.
Moon. Published by Wikipedia.
The Moon is Earth's only natural satellite. It orbits around Earth at an average distance of 384,399 kilometers, about 30 times Earth's diameter, and completes an orbit every 29.5 days. This is the same length it takes the Moon to complete a rotation. The rotation period is forced into synchronization with the orbital period by Earth's gravity pulling the same side of the Moon to always face Earth, making it tidally locked. Etymology. The English proper name for Earth's natural history. Formation. Isotope dating of lunar samples suggests the Moon formed around 50 million years after the origin of the solar system. Historically, several formation mechanisms have been proposed, but none satisfactorily explains the features of the Earth-Moon system. A fission of the Moon from Earth's characteristics. The Moon is a very slightly scalene ellipsoid due to tidal stretching, with its long axis displaced 30 degrees from facing the Earth, due to gravitational anomalies from impact basins. Its shape is more elongated than current tidal forces can account for. This fossil bulge indicates that the Moon solidified when it orbited at half its current distance to the Earth, and that it is now too cold for its shape to restore hydrostatic equilibrium at its current orbital distance. Size and mass. The Moon is by size and mass the fifth largest natural satellite of the solar system, categorizable as one of its planetary mass moons, making it a satellite planet under the geophysical definitions of the term. It is smaller than Mercury but considerably larger than the largest appearance. The Moon appears in Earth's sky differently depending on the position of observation on Earth and the time of lunar year, lunar month and day on Earth. During a year the Moon culminates during most of the Moon's mare basalts erupted during the Imbrian period, 3.3 to 3.7 billion years ago, though some are as young as 1.2 billion years and as old as 4.2 billion years. In 2006, a study of Ina, a tiny depression in Lacus felicitatus, found jagged, relatively dust-free features that, because of the lack of erosion by infalling debris, appeared to be only 2 million years old. Moonquakes and releases of gas indicate continued lunar activity. Evidence of recent lunar volcanism has been identified at 70 irregular mare patches, some less than 50 million years old. This raises the possibility of a much warmer lunar mantle than previously believed, at least on the near side where the deep crust is substantially warmer because of the greater concentration of radioactive elements. Evidence has been found for 2 to 10 million years old basaltic volcanism within the crater Lowell, inside the Oriental Basin. Some combination of an initially hotter mantle and local enrichment of heat-producing elements in the mantle could be responsible for prolonged activities on the far side in the Oriental Basin. The lighter-colored regions of the Moon are called terrae, or more commonly highlands, because they are higher than most maria. They have been radiometrically dated to having formed 4.4 billion years ago and may represent plagioclase cumulates of the lunar magma ocean. In contrast to Earth, no major lunar mountains are believed to have formed as a result of tectonic events. The concentration.
I have created a note titled Lithosphere with the following content. The lithosphere is the rigid, rocky outermost layer of Earth. It is composed of the crust and the upper part of the mantle. The two types are continental and oceanic lithosphere.
Cyber security. Danger in the digital world. Dangers in the digital world comes in the form of the various kind of cyber attack. A cyber attack is an attempt made by a criminal to steal personal or the financial information such as bank or credit card details or damage, disable or distribute devices on the online services. Cyber attack can be take many different forms. Let us learn about the common types of cyber attack. Malware, software malware is includes the wide range of the harmful software. Malware is designed to damage or steal the data from the computer network. The following next clip la பார்க்கலாம். Bye bye.